What's to do with this?
Don't tempt me. Just prop it up against the curb here.
What do you want it there for?
I want it there, Magnus, because I find it very difficult to bottom my front parlour with a flipping tandem leaning against the sofa. And while it's outside, you can get rid.
It's worth a bob or two, that, you know.
So we'll be a few bob better off, and I'll be able to flick the dust around without ringing the flipping bell.
Honest?
You know, I could understand you if you was never off the damn thing.
Well, it was never a success, was it?
Oh. Who does it remind you of? Oh, and if you see Annie Walker and Betty Turpin heading for one another, give us a shout.
What for?
Because there's a row going on and I don't want to miss out. Now, do as you're told and don't ask daft questions.
Oh.
Now, do you know, we could just do with one of those, kids. That would get us to work in quick sticks with that.
You want to buy it?
Buy it? You can give us a couple of quid to take it off your hands.
Do me a favour.
Do you think we should get bikes? Hey, are they selling it?
Oh, don't ask me, love. Personally, I wouldn't have that thing as a gift.
Do you think they might?
Well, they might. Let's put it this way. Stan and Hilda like to go their separate ways. That's a bit tricky on a tandem.
Oh, hello, Al.
Morning.
Betty's had a postcard from Renee.
Oh, aye? What's she got to say for herself?
Well, she says her mother's perking up a bit. She should be back in a week or two.
What's going to happen to you then? You know, here.
Oh, I'm never idle for long, lovey. I was born to work.
Well, I certainly hope so.
Yeah. Ta-ra.
Bye. I wouldn't want you to go through what Ernest went through.
Hey, what are you going to do, anyway? You can't go straight back to Rovers.
Oh, Manny.
Well, if there's anything I can do...
I'll let you know. That all you came in for, a gossip?
Aye, more or less. Oh, and a tin of black boot polish.
Oh. Here we are.
Are you still set on taking Annie to court?
Don't you think I should?
Well, it gave us all a bit of a shock, you know.
Well, I don't mind shocking that one, and that's a fact. Look, if she thinks she can go telling Nellie Harvey that I'm a thief and she's not got to give me a job, she's got another thing coming. She's not getting away with that.
She never said that.
Oh, didn't she? You asked... Oh, never mind. She didn't. Somebody heard her.
Well, I can't believe it, Betty. Oh, I can't believe it.
Save your breath, Al. I believe it. That's all that matters.
Can you prove it?
That'll have a damn good try.
You're not good enough, Betty.
Look, if you can't look after your own good name, I mean, what can you look after? Draw off, it's all I've got.
Well, you might not even end up with that if Judge gets out of bed at the wrong side. Look, it's not that we don't sympathise with you, love. We know you're in the right, but all that Judge is concerned with, if it goes into court, is facts. I mean, he don't give a toss if Fanny Adams thought she heard something, not about your good name, neither. I mean, if he's not absolutely satisfied, you could end up paying costs and everybody would still believe that you'd stolen flaming money anyway, in spite of that lad admitting it. So, weigh up.
What do you think I do at night? I mean, I don't sleep, and that's a fact.
I know.
Look, if you know, you must see. If I say naught, folks will think the worst. If I take it to court, I stand a bit of a chance. Tip my half a south. I couldn't be worrying more if I'd pinched her blasted money.
Please, I'd rather not talk about it.
Thank you.
All very well for her not talking about it. She should have thought of that before she started flinging her accusations all over the place.
But I thought they'd made it up.
What would you if you was Betty Turpin? Oh, there's a lot of things been said.
Like what?
Well, things. Mind you, I've no sympathy with either of them. I mean, a policeman's widow should show a better example than to go around stealing.
But it wasn't her, Hilda. With that painter lad. They copped him.
Well, they've proved now. It hasn't come to court yet. It could have been her.
Fire, you're a rummin, Hilda. You think worst of everybody.
Yeah, well, it's no good kidding yourself folks is better than they are, 'cause they're not. That's what's called fantasticising, and it doesn't do you no good. Oh, no. Reality's what matters in this life. Has the new Barbara Cartland come in yet?
No, it hasn't, Hilda. Have you read all Harold Robbins's? He writes about real life and all.
No, I'll not bother. Oh, well, come to that. I'll just have another look.
I thought you might. Yes, sir.
Come on, let's be having it.
Oh, haven't you noticed? I met a girl upon the stair. I met a girl who wasn't there. She wasn't there again today. I wish she'd damn well go away. No Mavis.
Anti-Flaming Edie again.
Anti-Flaming Edie again.
When is she going to get better?
Well, ask yourself. If Mavis came to see you every day, would you get better?
I'm not sure how you mean that.
Oh, yes, you do.
Anyway, it's your loss. I'm going to Rovers. If she does by any chance turn up, will you get a clip round the ear for me? She's doing you out of a three-course dinner.
I know. It's all going down in my little book.
Yeah, I'll give it a couple of black marks for me, will you? Look, if I'm only getting a pie now, I'll need a big tea later on, won't I? Hello, it's my little girlfriend. Give us a kiss. And me other little girlfriend at all, give us a kiss.
Oh, get off, your wife's looking.
You trust me, don't you?
Of course I do. Get your hands off her.
Hey, has that new Slimming magazine come in yet?
Not yet, love. I think it comes out tomorrow.
Well, they were advertised on telly.
Ah, but that comes to you with the speed of light. My magazines come by van. Take 2 days.
Yeah.
Hey, reminds me of a story, does that?
Is it an Irish one, Hilda?
No, it's true. You know that Mrs. Caldecott on Gas Street? It were her nephew what told me about it. He works in the television studios, you know. Very high up he is in the office.
Men's typewriters on 7th floor.
Yes, well, he was telling me as how they showed this Zoo Time programme.
Zoo Time? By gum, you're going back a bit, aren't you, Hilda?
Oh, it is a bit back, yeah. Anyhow, it was all about this baby tiger what was born in that zoo in London.
Oh.
Ah, now there you are. Listen to her, you see, that's just how it was. The next weekend, hundreds of thousands of people was queuing up to see it. And you'll never guess, programme were one of them repeats, 2-year-old. Tiger were 8 foot long.
I like it, Hilda, I like it.
Thought you would.
Will you put one by for me?
A tiger?
No, a Slimming magazine.
Of course I was. They come in looking like pipe cleaners, asking for Slimming magazine.
Oh, some pipe cleaner.
Get exercising, that's the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so cycling machines and rowing contraptions these days, heaven forbid. Imagine waking up in the morning and facing one of them. 20 tip, please, look.
Well, it's the kids, Elsie. If they can't get in a pair of skin-tight jeans, they're overweight.
Yeah, we're all same, us kids. Aren't we, Chuck?
I only want a minute, Annie.
Surely it's time for a glass of sherry.
Surely it's time for a glass of sherry.
He's after their fortune, him. You know what they call him, don't you? The Weatherfield Wooer.
I take it it's right, Elizabeth.
Ah, it is.
Well, you can have a glass of sherry, can't you?
Yes, all right, I'll have a glass of sweet tar.
Now, you can't drink sweet. This is a rather nice Amontillado. I think you'll like it.
Yes, all right, thank you. Well, she's set on this court case, love.
Oh, no. Why on earth is she behaving like this? I mean, she's an intelligent woman, not educated perhaps, but certainly not stupid.
Well, apparently, she heard that you said something about her to Nellie Harvey.
What am I supposed to have said?
Well, according to Betty, before this other chap was caught, you said that you thought that Betty had pinched the money, and you warned Nellie Harvey not to set her on. I mean, I told her I didn't believe it.
I should hope you did. Who would tell her a silly tale like that?
Well, she didn't say.
No, I don't suppose she would. Surely it couldn't have been Mrs. Sharpless.
Never mind cheeky. I'll stick to what I said. When I see Annie Walker walking round with her face like thunder, I know who's behind it.
Who, me? A simple little country girl. Shame on you, sire, for saying such dreadful things. Is chivalry a thing of the past?
Oh, I don't know about tigers. They'd queue up to see you if you was in the zoo.
Hey?
Never mind, get on with your dinner. And don't talk with your mouth full, just nod your head.
Oh.
Now then, about this tandem. According to all them clever dicks in the cabin this morning, cycling is the latest thing for slimming. Oh, not you, you fat lump. It's not a bicycle you want, it's a flipping bacon slicer. No, them 2 girls next door. Now, they're always on about their figures, so get 'em interested.
I talked to them this morning. They said they'd take it away for a couple of quid.
Well, they was trying it on, wasn't they? Don't tell me you can't see that. You've done enough of it. Now, mark my words. If they knew somewhat what'd take a couple of pounds off, they'd pay through the nose. Now then, bearing in mind its uniquity, there's not many tandems about. Plus the fact that it's hardly ever been rode.
And it's got a new bell.
And a new bell, yeah. Now then, working it out mathematical, say 12 quid.
12? You'd never get 12 for that.
12 quid.
Never.
Oh, all right then, do your best. No, on second thoughts, I'll do my worst, we'll get more.
Oh, so she's finally turned up, has she?
Oh, aye. Graciously consented to honour us with her presence. Just for me dinner hour, then she's going back.
Who's this then?
Mavis, looking after her Auntie Edie.
I was hoping she's doing a better flipping job.
Oh, shut up, Len. I'm more put out than you are.
Getting bedded in, aren't they? How long is it now?
Since when?
Since you made your big mistake.
Oh, him. Nearly 4 months.
4 months.
Well, you've got another 2 to go then. I gave you 6, remember?
Did you really give it that long?
Yeah, well, you know me. Nothing if not generous.
Yes, you could say that.
He does not like being amongst friends.
Keep me? What do you mean, keep me? You don't keep me.
And where do you think your social security comes from, then, eh? Do you reckon that Ely knocks it out every day on his junior printing set? It comes from me, mate, my taxes.
Yeah, well, you're fortunate, aren't you? I mean, you're in work.
Which brings us happily to my point. If I'm going to pay you, I might as well get something out of you. There's a labourer's job going across the road. Start Monday.
Labouring? Oh, that's not my scene, Squire.
Well, it's a job, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's a job. I'm not denying that. Look, I'll tell you what, I'll think about it. I mean, I'd be letting me brothers down if I didn't exercise my freedom of choice. I mean, that is the God-given right of every British working man.
You're not working.
No. No, but I would be if I took that job, wouldn't I? Look, I'll give it me undivided attention.
Mrs. Sharp, believe me, I don't want an argument with you. All I want is the name of your informant.
And I'm not telling you.
Mrs. Sharples, you come to me and tell me that I have made slanderous statements about a member of my staff. I now find that that rumour, which I told you was untrue, has spread, and in a most unfortunate direction. Now, I don't think it has anything to do with you, but it could be the person who told you in the first place. All I want is the name.
And you're not getting it.
Thank you, Mrs. Sharples, for your cooperation.
I'm not sure I want you in here either.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
And in future, if you've got any stories to tell, go and tell them to somebody else. I've just had Annie Walker there mathering about that Nellie Harvey business, wanting to know where I've got it from.
Did you tell her?
No, I didn't.
Well, you could have done, as far as I'm concerned. I'm not frightened of Annie Walker, you know. Any road, don't fret yourself. I'll tell her.
All right, you tell her.
I will. When I've had a drink.
I hear you're joining us.
No. No, I've given it a great deal of thought, like I said, but reluctantly I've got to say no.
You don't want the job?
Well, it's not that. No, it's, how shall I put it? I don't get any job satisfaction from work, you see.
What does give you satisfaction, then?
Well, talking to me mates, you know, about issues of the day, like unemployment and that. And where can you do that better than at the Labour?
They don't call it the Labour anymore. Oh, but I forgot. You first signed on in a cave, didn't you?
Now, listen, if anyone's got to be bitter, Squire, it's me. You try getting a job when you're an ex-con.
I've just offered you one.
He's always got a ready answer, hasn't he?
There, serve Mr. Clements, would you?
How's your chance? She's back.
You think I won't, don't you? But I will. Mrs. Walker,
Yes, Mr. Tatlow.
Ina's been telling me you've been trying to find out who told her what you said to Nellie Harvey. You know, about Betty Turpin.
Yes, I was.
Well, it were me.
I see. Well, then, could you tell me where you obtained the so-called information? Please keep your voice down in the process.
No, it's you that ought to keep your voice down. I could hear plain as a pikestaff every word you said on telephone in that hall. These walls are knob at 3-ply, you know.
Well, I don't know what you think you heard, Mr. Tatlock. You certainly didn't hear me slandering Mrs. Turpin.
Oh, I did.
Oh, no, you didn't. And if you persist in this malicious rumour, I shall sue you for slander.
You can take it to the House of Lords if you like. I know what I heard.
Don't look at me.
Ooh, every time I look at you, you're sat at that table rubbing your pot.
Any afters?
Have you got worms or something? I give you dinner enough for 3 at dinner time. You've had 8 rounds of bread and a tin of luncheon meat for your tea, and now you're after afters. Oh, you can't have any room left, Stan, not even in there.
Well, I'm hungry. I wouldn't be asking otherwise, would I?
Ooh, you know, my father, God rest his soul, always used to say, you should get up from the table feeling you could eat a little bit more. Mind you, he had to, bless him. Never earned more than £3 a week in his life. Here, get that table sided.
Right.
We got your message.
Oh, wait, yes, that's right. I left it for you. Come on in. I'm told you've shown an interest in my velocipede.
Oh, would we try and break up an happy marriage? Have we shown an interest in Stan?
Now, you misunderstand me, as I think you well know. Now, velocipede, according to the Reader's Digest I were reading in the dentist last week, is the old-fashioned name for bicycle, or in this case, tandem.
Oh, your tandem.
Yes, which is for sale, as it so happens. Now, by a strange coincidence, me and Stan happened to be talking over this evening meal, and, well, I happened to mention as how cycling was the latest thing for trimming your figure down, you know. And then Stan mentioned as how he'd noticed you two was getting a bit bonnier.
You mean fatter?
You know, that's very worrying. I mean, let's face it, Mr. Ogden just has to be an expert on fat.
Yes, well, what do you think, then?
How much do you want for it?
We thought £12.
£12?
Well, of course, we could talk about that.
We'd have to. And we'd want to try a run before we gave you the money.
Oh, certainly.
Yeah, we could try our new shorts out at the same time.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Well, we'll see you later then.
Yes, all right. When you're ready, just give us a knock.
Hey, that tandem is as much mine as yours.
Oh, stop worrying. If we sell it, you'll get your beer money.
I will.
That's all?
Don't sell champagne out of a barrel, do you?
No, that's all then. Good now, Nick, a bit, aren't you? I mean, I thought vodka was your drink.
Them love are for my lord and master, who can't get out of the Rover's out. Oh, the spirit's willing, for his legs are too strong. They keep carrying him to the front door, and I have to keep dragging him back.
See you, though, pal.
Ta-ra.
I'll do.
Hello. Oh, hang on a minute, let me get my little list. Now then, what have you got for us today? Cabbage?
They're not carrots, are they?
Well, no, they're definitely not carrots. Now then, how much do you want for this lot?
Look at that round heart.
Yeah.
Stop like that for days, that will.
Yes, well, I'll take your word for it, love.
Oh, yeah, I got that.
That's it, yeah. Right. Let's have another dollop.
Right. I've got a bit of news for you. It was me as heard Annie Walker talking to Nellie Harvey about you.
It was.
All right, it weren't then.
Honest?
Look, if I say it were, it were. I'll be a witness.
And you heard her tell Nellie Harvey that I'd had my fingers in her till?
As near as makes no difference.
Will you stand up in court and say that?
You know, if you took these to nearest pound, it'd be a lot easier.
Yeah.
Would you say that's getting on for 7?
Oh, yeah. Definitely 7.
Of course I'll stand up in court.
Ilza, Ilza, give us your answer, do. I'm afraid.
Eddie. What? Do you want to buy it?
I'll tell you what, Stan. I'll enter you for the wheel tappers and shunters. You're a comic.
There's no wrong with that.
No, not in the steamroller won't cure. They're out of date, Stanley. Nobody uses these things
But you
anymore.
can get money for it. Nobody uses chamber pots these days, do they?
Now, there speaks a man who hasn't been in the nick.
Aye,
Who got you ready?
aye.
Just you try it. Here, off you.
Come on, girls.
I'll help them on.
We don't need any help. We're very sporty, aren't we, kid? Yeah, give us a push in the right direction. We'll be off like the wind.
Whoops. 1, 2, 3.
Hey, you reckon there's a foot of gold at the bottom of the bag?
Hey, Stanley, you're a very lucky man, you know.
How'd you make that out?
Well, you've reached the age where you're happy just looking.
Well, if I were a betting man, I'd say it was 10 to 1 against it ever coming to court. Never mind Betty winning. I mean, solicitors aren't daft, you know. Nobody's going to tell her to make a case of it when there's no case to be made.
What about Mr. Tatlock?
Well, ask yourself, is it likely?
Come in.
I'm sorry to trouble you, Mrs. Walker, but do you think I could have £10 worth of small silver?
We're discussing Elizabeth and her stupid decision to take me to court.
Oh, yes.
Apparently there's a rumour circulating that I slandered her over the telephone to Mrs. Harvey.
Story has got round, Mrs. Walker.
Indeed it has, and much too far. Somebody was kind enough to tell Mrs. Turpin.
Some people. They can't leave well enough alone, can they?
Apparently not.
Oh, will you be told, Annie? If this case ever goes to court, what judge in his right mind is going to believe that Albert Tatlock can remember something word for word that he heard a week ago?
That he thinks he heard.
Well, that's what I mean.
I agree with Alf, Mrs. Walker.
Really?
Oh, aye. The fact that Albert can remember everything about the First World War, you know, names, dates, the lot, means nothing. There are folk like that who can remember everything what happened 60-odd years ago and nowt about last week. On the other hand, still, it's best to look on the bright side, eh?
Right, what are you having?
Hear that, Hilda? He's buying drinks for other women.
Oh, well, it's an occasion.
It's an occasion when he buys anybody a drink.
Yeah, well, when you're finished, we'll have 2 bitter lemons.
You're feeling more thirsty than exotic. It takes it out of does that kid after like I've been 3 hours in a discotheque.
My legs are killing me.
Stan will rub them for you.
And a pint, love, and a light bottle. Your pen, look.
Right, come on, let's get down to business. Go on, you better do the negotiating, seeing as you're supposed to be the boss.
Yeah, and I'm fighting for our side. Now, what's your opening price?
£12.
5.
5.
5.
10.
6.
8.
7.
You've got a deal.
OK, £7. We'll give you the money tomorrow.
Yeah, see that you do.
Can we have another practice run?
Oh, do as you like, Chuck, as long as you remember yours £7.
Could we ever forget?
Oh.
£7.
We'll have to meet them halfway.
Look, for your information, Bamber, 7 is not halfway between 5 and 12. And I don't know whether you noticed or not, but we was going down in 2s and they was going up in 1s.
I noticed, Hilda.
Oh, you flipping would.
Oh, well, shut up, will you? Money's money, isn't it, lad? We sold a tandem.
Ah, you don't have to tell me, Stanley. I know exactly who you sold it to and all. That fella in Eccles New Road. And I can tell you how much he paid you for it. 100 quid. 95?
We sold it to the girls. We got 7.
7 quid? Oh, Stanley, I know there's one born every minute, but it always have to be you. 7 quid for a £100 bike. They're scarcer than back studs nowadays.
Just keeps happening, doesn't it, Stanley? Just flaming keeps happening.
A bit more tandem double dealing in tomorrow's classic Coronation Street, same time, 9 o'clock. Stay with us tonight on Granada Plus. The comedians are next.
Leaning against the drain pipe.
What is?
Worry. I'll give you worries, you great pie can. Our tandem worth 100 quid, what you went and sold for 7.
Well, how was I to know? It was your idea to sell it in the first place.
That's got nothing to do with it. You're the man of the house. You're supposed to know what things like a tandem will fetch.
Look, I'm a window cleaner. I don't give a bike shop.
Yeah, well, you just have to make them 2 girls give it back to us, that's all. So you better shape yourself and get round next door before they go to work.
Oh.
Hey, it's them. Now, box clever, Stan. Don't let on how much it's worth.
Oh, morning to pay you for the tandem.
She means our tandem. Now, it was £7.
Yes, well, you know, it's funny you should call round now because, well, Stan was just coming round to your house, actually. You see, there was a bit of a misunderstanding last night. We're not selling it now.
You've already sold it, Hilda.
Yeah, to us it was all arranged. The price, everything, it was £7.
Stan? Tell them.
Well, we were thinking of selling it, like, you know, but we've changed our minds.
It were you that pestered us till we said we'd have it.
Yeah, great aid for keeping fit, you said. Great for slimming, you said.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, that proves he was having yarn, doesn't it? I mean, if it were any good for slimming, Stan wouldn't look like he does, would he?
He wouldn't if he rode it.
No. Yes, well, any road, we'll be using the tandem ourselves now. You see, we're going on holiday on it, aren't we, Chuck?
Yeah, you know, holidays.
We can't afford public transport, you see. Well, not for going away, so we've booked us boarding house, but we'll have to get there on the tandem.
Where are you going?
Isle of Man.
Oh, yeah. Goes underwater, does it?
Come on, kid, let's go to work on our tandem.
Hey, you've got no receipt or anything. It's not a legal sale.
They do say possession is 9/10 the law, Hilda. Ta-ra.
Ta-ra.
The Isle of Man. Honest, I don't know why you waste your time getting out of bed some days.
I thought so. Many a time.
I just don't understand how she can persist in this ridiculous idea of suing me.
Yes, well, it's not ridiculous to Betty, you see, Annie. Now, as far as I can make out, it's something she thinks she's got to do. The only thing she can do.
I'm sorry, Al. I can't accept the idea that she can be so vengeful. Elizabeth, of all people. After all the years she's worked here, I thought I knew her. But apparently I was mistaken.
Well, she's peaceable enough normally, is Betty. Always has been. But this time she's boiling mad.
I just don't know what's got into her.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, you see. You said yourself it's not like Betty Turpin to behave like this. She must have had some provocation.
I see. In other words, you believe that I accused her of being a thief.
It's not a matter of what I believe, love. It's a matter of what Betty believes. That's what counts. I mean, as far as I can make out, there's that many tales going about who said what to who. You say one thing. No, let me finish. You say one thing. Betty says something else. Albert's got his version.
Yes, well, what Albert Tatlow says is just malicious gossip.
Yeah, but you see what I mean, don't you? As far as I can make out, there's only two folk in the whole of Weatherfield who haven't swapped tails over this. You and Betty.
What are you suggesting?
Well, you and her are the only two that can get this thing straightened out. Why don't you get together?
Well, I'm sure Elizabeth knows that I'm prepared to see her here at any time.
Well, I think in this case, the mountain might have to go to Mahomet.
So we take this wall out here, you see, and make a separate entrance from the back there.
Oh, so that whoever lives upstairs won't have to walk through here?
That's right, yeah. I mean, if we're going to let the place off to strangers, we don't want them coming in right through the shop now, do we?
Strangers? Isn't Mavis coming back to the flat then?
Nah, she's with her Auntie Edie for duration.
You don't know that, Len. Sure, it's like talking to Walt. I keep telling him she wants to come back here.
And I always wanted to meet Madeline Monroe. Anyway, I'm being charged rates for that place, you know, so I want to let it off to somebody now, don't I?
Poor Mavis. She does seem to have been behind the door when the luck was handed out.
Oh, hello. Can I have my TV Times, please?
Hey, hello, love. Did you manage to get your bike back off Gail and Susie? You know that Stan sold their tandem last night for £7. £7 for a £100 bike.
What, that I wreck of a tandem?
Don't knock it, darling. It's old, that, you know. It's very valuable now. I mean, some people would prefer that to money.
True, that's the reason why I married you.
I'll ignore that. Did you manage to get it back, then?
Not quite, no. They're being a bit awkward.
Ah, it's a pity, that. Because you know the address of that bloke I was telling you about, the bloke who buys bikes? I've got it here for you, written it down for you. Still, there's no point in giving it to you if you can't get it back off him, is there?
Oh, I'd better have it just in case, because we are hoping to get it back, you know. Hey, you won't let on how much it's worth, will you? I mean, it is our tandem, really. It's not fair if somebody else gets the benefit.
How much?
Huh?
To keep my mouth shut.
You wouldn't. You flaming would, wouldn't you? All right, go on then, tell him, if it gives you any pleasure.
You wouldn't, would you?
Yeah, I can't stand any more disappointments in life, especially Hilda.
Do you know, Fairclough, you're not half as bad as they say.
Ah, she's a little belter. Can I give her a rust?
Yeah, she likes them. Do you? You like rust? Hey, look.
Now, here you are.
Look at that.
You got stuck into that.
There.
You've got to keep your strength up, you know, if you've got some nasty teggies coming through.
Oh, dear. Hello, Mrs. Walker. I'm not in any rush if you want to get your order in.
No, it's quite all right.
Oh, I see. Betty, what else was it I wanted? Oh, yeah, bag of sugar.
Oh. For the 24 and a half, please.
25.
Sorry.
Bye.
Ta-ta. I expect you know why I'm here. I've no idea. Oh, I think you have. Surely this unfortunate misunderstanding has been allowed to go on for quite long now.
The trouble is, Mrs. Walker, I don't think there's been any misunderstanding. You thought I took that money. I know you did. I mean, I could feel it, and you as much as said so.
I won't deny that at the time, and you must bear in mind the circumstances, at the time the thought did cross my mind, but I dismissed it very quickly.
Not how it felt to me on the receiving end.
I give you my word, your honesty is not in question.
How could it be? I mean, the police have got somebody who pinched the money.
Well, of course they have, exactly.
Mrs. Walker, what you think of me, I really couldn't care that much now. But it's what you've led other people to think of me. I mean, thanks to you, folks round here think that I'm a little bit light-fingered. No, I'm sorry, Mrs. Walker. I just can't shrug it off like that.
Elizabeth, I am offering you the olive branch.
Yes, well, that's just not enough, is it? So I suggest you take it back again. Now then, was there anything else you wanted?
No, thank you.
Why didn't you come to me for advice in the first place?
Well, what good would that have done? You didn't know how much tandem were worth.
True knowledge, Mrs. O, is not knowing a thing, it's knowing where you can find out. I mean, I don't personally know the chemical formula for turning lead into gold, but I know a scrap dealer that'll pay a lot of money for the flashings on your roof. Look, why don't you leave the next move to me? I mean, what have you got to lose?
Nothing, because we've lost it already.
Faith, Mrs. O, have faith. Have I ever let you down?
Many and many a time.
I'll queue up all night if I have to see you in the witness box, Albert Tatlock.
I'm not frightened of law courts, you know.
Well, you should be. So should every sensible person. You wait till they start asking you awkward questions like, when did you stop beating your wife?
I'm a widower, aren't I?
Oh, I'm wasting my time. Will you have a drink?
Oh, well.
Bet. Wait a minute, we'll have a again.
Right, Mrs. Sharples.
I suppose you'll put your best suit on like a little lad going to a Sunday school treat.
Well, I shall definitely wear my medals. I mean, they'll think twice, won't they, about blackguarding a witness who's fought for his country?
If you give evidence against Annie Walker, my lad, you'll need somebody to test your beer next time you come in here.
2 lads of nice, please, back to me.
Excuse me, girls, but could I have a word in the pursuit of commerce? You see, my business associate and myself...
You're who?
My business associate, Monkey Gibbon. Now, we are looking for a new commercial vehicle, what we can gear our expansion to, and your tandem would just do us nicely.
But we're not selling it, Eddie. We've only just bought it ourselves.
Of course you have, but here's a way of making a nice little profit and helping to get England back on its feet economically.
How much?
Spoken like a true tycooness. Now, I hear you paid 7. I'm prepared to do the handsome thing and offer you a tenner.
No chance. That tandem is wonderful. It saves us a fortune in bus fares.
Look, I'll tell you what, a tenner and half a dozen pair of ladies' tights.
You'll have to do better than that, Eddie. 20 quid and it's yours.
Oh, come on, girls, a joke's a joke, but the market won't bear a pantomime. I'll tell you what, my final offer, £12 and 3/4 dozen tights.
No tights, Eddie. £15.
Done. Right, here we are. 3 fivers of the Queen's Realm. Where is the object of the transaction?
Leaning on the wall outside. It's all yours.
Thank you very much indeed, girls. You drive a very hard bargain.
Yes, we do. The back tyre's got a puncture in it. Hey, 8 quid profit, kid. We should go into business.
There we are, Mrs. O. What did I tell you? Leave it to your Uncle Eddie.
You've done a good job, Eddie.
I must admit, Eddie, you've done very well getting us tandem back fellas like that.
Hang on, Mrs. O. I mean, I haven't got it back for you. I mean, it has changed hands from the girls to me.
What are you hinting?
Well, I'm just hinting that it's my tandem. I paid 15 notes for it.
Your tandem?
But seeing as how things are, and not wanting any bad feeling between old friends, I'm willing to go halves with you when I sell it. Now, that's fair, isn't it?
I just popped in to see if you'd had any luck. You know, if you managed to settle things with Betty.
Afraid not. Don't think it's for want of trying. Went along to the corner shop just as you suggested.
And what happened?
Couldn't have been more open or more generous, but it still wasn't enough.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Annie. Hey, how about me having a try? I mean, there must be something that'll satisfy
Well,
her.
I've been trying to write out a card which you could show in the shop window if you wanted. Have a read of it.
Certain malicious rumours have been drawn to my attention. To put a stop to ignorant gossip, I wish to state that I regard Mrs. Elizabeth Turpin's integrity as beyond reproach. I have the utmost regard for her character and deplore any slur on her reputation. Signed, Anne Walker.
Well, do you approve?
Well, I reckon if she puts that in a window, she's bound to be satisfied.
I certainly hope so. If humiliating myself in this way isn't enough for her, I'm sure I don't know what will be.
Now, you've got that address, haven't you?
Engraved on me brain, Mrs. O. Come on, Stan, let's be having you.
Oh! Oh, my back. Oh, I felt something go.
Yeah, wish you could say the same. Come on, let's get going.
No, you better go without me. Oh, the pain I was suffering. I think I better lie down, love.
Oh, no, you don't, Stanley Upton. Oh, no. I'm not having Eddie Yates swanning off on his valuable tandem on his own. It's bad enough him getting half the money.
We're a business partnership now, Mrs. O. A state of perfect trust now exists between us.
Yeah, all the same, Stan's going with you. And he's got to hold the money till you get back.
I can't get on that bike with me back.
Well, you'll have to push it then, won't you?
Well, across Weatherfield, it's 3 flaming miles.
Well, it'll be good exercise. Go on, off you go. I'll be waiting for you.
Oh, come on, if we got to, we got to. Come on, Stan. Mind you, I feel a bit daft pushing a bike. It's like having a cow and buying condensed milk.
Hey, mind you don't get knocked down.
Don't worry, love, I know the highway code.
I mean on the price, you great tater. 100 quid rock bottom.
I have the utmost regard for her character and deplore any slur on her reputation. Signed, Anne Walker. I can't say that I can express myself more clearly than that. And you want me to put this somewhere where people can see it, is that it? Yes, I thought in the shop window or on the door, you know, prominent position where everyone can see it. No, Mrs. Walker, this just isn't on. I'm sorry. I mean, I dare say you mean well, but... Well, I can't have this. You know, I don't understand your objections. I am prepared to put up a similar card in the Rovers, if you so wish. No smoke without fire. That's what folks round here will say. They all think there's something more behind it. Start reading between the lines, even if there's naught to read. No, I'm sorry. It just draws attention to the trouble and makes things worse. If that is your opinion, how can you contemplate taking legal action? Surely that'll have precisely the same effect, only 10 times worse. I don't think so, Mrs. Walker. Not if I can prove my case. And I can.
Hey, Cersei Road, Miss Eddie.
Definitely not, and that's final. NO spells no.
Cersei Road pushes a tandem.
We're not going in that pub, Stan.
It's good ale, you know. I've had some tasty pints in there.
I don't care how tasty the ale is. When we get to this fella that buys tandems, I want you reasonably sober. You've had enough in the Rovers.
Just one pint, Eddie.
Look, let's get the money in our pocket and then we'll go on the bevy. Come on.
You turned her down?
Yeah, I did. Had to.
Well, she was only trying to make amends, you know, Betty. I mean, she made a big effort, especially for her.
Yeah. I won't argue with you about that, love. And I must say, I was very surprised when she admitted that she was in the wrong. Grudging though she were. But for Annie Walker, we're handsome.
Well, there you are, then. Why not meet her halfway? Well, it's not even that, is it? Quarter way. Look, stick the card in the window and forget it.
Alf, I once had a neighbour. Many years ago. And there was a lot of nasty gossip about her and another fellow. I don't know if it was true or not, but she didn't like it whether or not. So she put an advert in the local paper threatening what she'd do if she caught anybody spreading this gossip around. Well, as soon as the advert went in, everybody was sure that she was guilty.
I see what you mean.
Yes, well, you see, I've done my threatening, haven't I? So I've just got to go through with it. Or folks round here will think that I'm the same. Hey, here comes Mr. Our Witness. Hope you're not getting frightened standing up in court for me, Albert.
My heck was frightened.
Well, he might not be frightened, and you might not be frightened. But if I was in your place, Betty Tippin, I'd be quaking in my boots, because I wouldn't rely on Albert Tatlock telling me what day it was.
Take no notice. I don't go pale when I hear the sound of gunfire. You can depend on me sticking up for you.
Yeah, I'm sure I can.
Hey, Albert,
What?
I hope you don't mind my asking, but I've heard that many versions about what you're supposed to have heard Mrs. Walker say to Nellie Harvey. And I've never had it from the horse's mouth, if you know what I mean.
Well, I don't mind telling you. Look, I were in snow, weren't I? And I heard her talking on telephone to Nellie Harvey. And I know it was Nellie Harvey because she asked for her when they replied at t'other end.
Oh, get to the point, can't you? What did you hear her say?
Aye.
Well, now, hold your sweat, will you, the pair of you? Who's the witness, you or me? Well, anyhow, she must have said something, Nellie Harvey, you know, about taking Betty on. because Annie Walker said in that case, I reckon it was a duty to tell you that Betty's a bit light-fingered.
Well, are you sure she said that?
Well, I heard her.
Just a minute, Albert. I thought you said that Mrs. Walker said that I'd had my fingers in her till.
Well, that's what I said.
It's not, you know.
Well, that's not what you told me, Albert Tatlock. You told me that Annie Walker said that Betty had her fingers in the till, but there was nothing she could prove.
I know what I heard.
Well, there's a hell of a difference in them two versions, you know, Albert.
No, there isn't. Well, I haven't got the exact words, because, I mean, it's a good step from that telephone to Snug, you know, but I know what you were cracking on about Betty Turpin.
That's your star witness. Wouldn't hang a cat on that evidence.
Don't be frightened, I won't stick up for you. I will. I'll tell them straight.
Hey, Albert.
See you see what everybody's having, please, Bet. We won't get round in. Right, love. Yeah, that includes you too, Mr. Baldwin. It's a Scotch, isn't it?
No, I'm paying you too much. I remember this when you asked for a rise.
Oh, it's not out of our money. We've had a windfall.
Oh, a little bit of big business, eh?
What's all this?
I'll tell you what all this is. They bought the bike from Stan Ogden for £7 and they sold it to Eddie Yates for 15.
Not bad for a couple of novices, eh? What are you having, Mr. Fairclough?
Hey, before you start spending your profits, I think I ought to tell you something.
Pay attention, girls. This is the facts of life.
Oh, we know that. Yeah, better than Mr. Fairclough, I should wonder.
You might think you've beaten Eddie Yates to 15 quid, but you weren't doing yourselves a favour, you know. You were doing him one. That tandem's worth 100 quid now.
You're kidding.
They're worth a bomb nowadays, tandems.
100 quid? And we let him have it for 15?
Stupid, you are.
I am. Can I have a light ale, please?
Oh, Hilda, I'm very sorry about the bike.
Why?
Eddie Yates is cleaned up again.
Oh, not by a long shot. Oh, no. Me and Stan have got a few bob to come, don't you fret.
Hey, son, where are you coming down here?
Quickest way, Stan. We'll save ourselves half a mile.
Hey, Eddie, there's the Moonrakers.
Told you, no pubs till after.
I've got to go, Eddie.
Oh, it's really got you, hasn't it, Stan?
No, it's not the drink I want. It's the drink I wanted he had.
Oh. All right, I wouldn't mind going there myself.
Well, if I've got the pints, you can't go in a pub and not have a drink. It looks bad.
Oh, all right, we haven't got far to go now. Just one pint, though, all right.
Can we leave the tandem over there?
You're joking, aren't you? Don't have the socks off your feet round here. Come on. We'll pop it in that house there. Be all right for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Safer than locking it up.
Yeah.
Now, just one pint. Don't forget.
All right.
Come in.
Mrs. Walker.
Closing time, Mr. Love. Do you want me to catch up?
No, it's not about Mrs. Walker. Somebody wants to see you. It's Betty.
Oh, ask her to come in. Elizabeth, do sit down. May I offer you a glass of sherry?
Look, this isn't a social visit, Mrs. Walker. I've been thinking about what you asked me down at the shop this morning.
I've been thinking too, and I cannot see what more I can do to demonstrate my confidence.
Well,
in you.
I've decided not to go through with it. I'm not going to go to my solicitor.
I do think that's a very wise decision, and I think it calls for a celebration in the very best sense of the word. Oh, I am pleased you've come to this decision. The whole affair has been so unpleasant for everybody.
I know that more than anybody, Mrs. Walker. Oh, I haven't got time for that. I've got to
Now,
get to the shop.
Elizabeth, you can spare 5 minutes. By the way, dear, when is Miss Bradshaw due back? Because we all want to see you back in your rightful place here as soon as possible.
I don't know when she'll be back. I suppose when she gets her mother on her feet. I've got to say this, Mrs. Walker. I mean, in view of what happened, I don't know whether I want to come back here anyway. Excuse me.
Daisy, give me your answer, do. I'm half crazy, oh, for the love of you. It won't be a stylish marriage, I can't afford the carriage, but you look sweet upon the seat of a bicycle made for two. Oh, the bicycle made for two. Are we in the right place?
Of course we are.
Where's that flaming tandem gone?
Come to that, where's the house we put it in?
Oh, hell. What's Hilda gonna say? What is our Hilda gonna say?